these TikTok videos are about to get dark and will be a reminder of just how evil this world can be. And when I say world, I mean people. Let's watch. But before we do, I want you guys to check out a movie trailer that your boy is guest starring in for the movie Venus Effect. Let's watch.
Do you mind answering some questions? We had some strange calls come in of some suspicious activity in the area.
Some strange stuff? I mean, I've seen some people talking about it on our neighborhood app, but I haven't seen any details or anything.
We need to be worried about these encounters I've been hearing about.
All right, here you go with the alien talk.
Or at least that's what my sources say, and they pretty legit.
I promise y'all, they are not from this planet.
Shit! What else could have done all of this damage? It had to be some type of alien technology.
That's right, your boy had a little actor role in this movie. I don't know exactly where it will be streaming as of yet, but as we get closer to the release date of that film, I will be letting you guys know. So, let's get into this video.
His Discord friends tracked him down after he murdered his entire family. On July 2019, 24-year-old Menhaz Zaman murdered his entire family before they could find out that he dropped out of school. His family believed that he was studying engineering at York University in Toronto, but little did they know that he had been lying for 3 years. On this day, Menhaz sent a message to a group of friends on Discord saying that he was gonna murder his entire family. One by one, Menhaz shared photos of his family, first his mother, then his grandmother, then his sister, then his father, and they were all deceased. He then played video games and took a nap while his friends online were figuring out whether this was real or fake. But after his online friends shared these gruesome photos with other people, they realized that he actually did murder his entire family. After some digging, his online friends found his IP address and realized he was from Toronto. They then contacted Toronto police and they quickly found Menhaz's address and went to his house. When police arrived to the home, Menhaz sent his last message to the group chat and he said, "Police are here, goodbye." The bodies of his entire family were lying around the house and he confessed that he did this because his graduation was approaching and he didn't want his family to feel ashamed that he didn't finish school.
What? What? What sense does that make? This boy sat here and lied for 3 years, and instead of being accountable for his actions, because he dropped out or got kicked out of school, he decided, you know what, I don't want to shame my family, so I'm just gonna take their lives. What does he feel the repercussion would have been had he simply just told his family that he's been lying for the last 3 years? What, they were going to yell at him? They were going to ground him, punish him? He's a 25-year-old man. What? How could that be the go-to thought? I'm going to take their lives so that they don't know that I've been lying about going to college for the last 3 years. Because, time is ticking. Graduation is around the corner. They're ready for this graduation. They're excited. But I've been lying about going to school. I ain't never seen lack of accountability to this degree ever in my life. This is ridiculous. But y'all, I want y'all to check out this young lady on TikTok. Her videos are good. She does these type of stories all the time. Let's see if there's any more to this.
The autopsies reveal that Menhaz struck each one of his family members with a crowbar and then cut their throats. Menhaz was sentenced to life in prison and is eligible for parole in 40 years.
Huh? How you gonna sentence him to life in prison and then also have him be eligible for parole when he's 65 years old? No, keep him in there. Parole for what? Clearly he's not in the right state of mind. He needs a psychiatric evaluation. Parole? He just offed 4 people in his family with a crowbar and a slice to the throat. He's evil. That type of person shouldn't be out free to roam in the streets. Lock him in there. Take that key that belongs to that specific jail cell that he's in and throw it underneath the prison. Put him under the jail. Oh my God.
So this guy just recently moved to Germany along with his wife and child earlier this year. And as many people do, he liked to start his mornings with a little cup of coffee. But then right around March, he noticed that same coffee he'd been drinking for years and years all of a sudden just didn't taste the same. And
that reminds me of something. So last night, all right, so this man coffee's been tasting different, right? All of a sudden, his coffee been tasting weird. I bet you all have the same assumption that I do. His wife is doing something to it. Anyway, that reminds me of something. Last night, I had some freaking French fries from McDonald's, right? Because I was hungry just getting back home from a flight, and it was 1 a.m. and I had nowhere else to go. And you know how you empty the fries into your mouth, right? My tongue would touch the outside of the McDonald's French fry container, the little, you know, the red boxes, because I had a large, because I'm a large guy. And my tongue would have this horrible tingling sensation whenever my tongue touched the red part of the freaking French fry container, almost as if it was like poison. It was weird. It's weird. Any of y'all had that experience? Let me know in the comment section down below, please. Seriously, because we might have to send that into the lab to be tested if so.
the same. And as time went on, this ungodly taste, along with an extremely uneasy feeling, just continued to get worse and worse. So he tried cleaning the machine, but that didn't work. He tried using distilled water, and that didn't work either. But then he decided to make a cup of that same coffee from his home at work. And lo and behold, it tasted completely normal. It was at this point he tested the water coming out of his faucet, but all levels were within reason. Confused by this, he wakes up the next morning and he's like, all right, I put the water in the coffee maker before I go to sleep. Let me just test the water one more time now that it's been sitting. This is what he finds. Extremely high levels of chlorine. Like, we're talking enough to make you seriously ill or possibly even take your life. So this guy starts documenting everything. He got a hidden camera, he's facing it directly towards the machine, and he films himself testing the water before it's even added, and lo and behold, his wife going into the chemical drawer, pulling out some sort of chemical and adding it to his coffee as he's sleeping just one room over. And when he's...
Bro, what? You see this? She just poured bleach into this little, maybe into the cap of the bleach container, but clear as day, she just poured bleach into a little cup or cap and then poured that into this coffee maker,
pulling out some sort of chemical and adding it to his coffee as he's sleeping just one room over. And when he sees this, he just continued to document every single instance he possibly could in order to file a report once he came back to the States. Now, when they finally came back, he did file that report, but police stated the camera was simply too far away to say with certainty that she had been adding bleach to his coffee. So
the police said, what? He has multiple video clips of his wife pouring something into his coffee, going into the cabinet, getting something out of there and pouring it into his coffee. And the police said, oh, the camera's too far away? What? Luckily, because that's stupid, luckily he could continue to document her doing this heinous act, but he doesn't have to drink the coffee because he knows she's putting something in it. Go ahead, my guy, switch up them camera angles. Get some content of her doing this that is so undeniable that only an idiot can deny it.
He goes all out. He gets even more cameras and starts placing them facing towards multiple areas, including the laundry room, the bleach in and of itself, and directly above the coffee machine. To which he would get more than enough evidence to have his wife, Feliciano Johnson, arrested, where she is currently being held on a $250,000 bond.
Got her dumb ass. Ooh, evil. See what I'm talking about? There's evil people in this world. What was her agenda? I would love to hear more about this story. Was she trying to off him so she can collect his money or his life insurance? What's the agenda here? Doesn't she realize that, yeah, they're going to, do an autopsy and test to see what's going on, and they will see that he had been poisoned essentially with high levels of chlorine? They're probably going to end up pointing the finger at her, but luckily he caught her before he died. Evo!
Do you know why this photo has one of the darkest backstories behind it?
What even is that?
So this photo was taken in 1961 on November 16th, and we see an 11-year-old girl stranded in the middle of the sea, and her name was Terry Jo Duperl, and she was stranded in the middle of the ocean for 4 days with no food or water until a nearby cargo ship found her and saved her. And right when the cargo ship saved her and brought her onto the ship, she collapsed from having heart failure. But this story gets even darker.
So how did the girl even get in the middle of the ocean?
Okay, so just 3 days before they found Terry Jo Duperl, they actually found another man stranded in the middle of the ocean on a dinghy, and this man was yelling for help. He was in such distress. So the cargo ship stopped and saw the man and helped him onto the ship, and the man introduced himself as Julian Harvey, and he said that he's the captain of the Bluebell ship, and he told everyone that his ship sank due to a violent sea storm, and he explained how he's the only survivor on the ship and everyone else died at sea. So 3 days later, the same cargo ship that saved Julian Harvey ended up saving Terry Jo Duperl and brought her onto the ship. And right when Julian Harvey found out that Terry Jo Duperl was on the ship alive, the next day he was found dead in his room.
Wait, what? Did someone kill him?
So all the authorities and Coast Guards are trying to figure out who this Terry Jo Duperl girl is, because all they know is that this little girl was found in the middle of the ocean. But time was moving so fast, Terry Jo was dying, and they knew that she was dying. So they started trying to perform CPR and do any kind of life support they could to help her. And luckily they were able to bring Terry Jo Duperl back to life. So they started asking Terry Jo, like, what happened? Who are you? And how did you get here? And Terry Jo was slowly starting to come to and starting to remember how she got here and started telling her story. So Terry Jo's story starts November 12th at night, and her family's about to go on a cruise. So her dad hires a captain to sail the ship, and the captain brings his wife with them. So while they're at sea, Terry Jo's brother starts yelling for help and calling for their dad, and Terry Jo's like, what's going on? So Terry Jo hears all this yelling for help, and then all of a sudden it just stops, and the whole boat is just silent. So Terry Jo decides to get up from her bed and leave her room to go look at what's going on, and she walks into the kitchen, and all of a sudden she sees her mom and her brother dead on the ground. So Terry Jo, in shock, tries to go find her dad. So as she tries to climb the ladder to go to the main deck of the ship, all of a sudden the captain of the boat says, no, go down, go to your room, and it ends up being the captain is Julian Harvey. So Terry Jo goes back down to her room and sits on her bed and just sits there, closes the door and just waits. And all of a sudden she sees a bunch of water slowly seeping underneath her door, her bedroom door, and she realizes that the boat is sinking. So water keeps coming in underneath the door, and her bed starts to float and rise to the ceiling. So Terry Jo starts panicking because she knows this is it, we're sinking, this is not good. And all of a sudden her bedroom door opens up, and it's Julian Harvey, and he walks in with a rifle, and as he points it at her, he looks at her, puts the rifle down, and just walks away and goes back up to the main part of the boat, because at that moment he realizes that she's gonna die anyway. She's gonna sink with the ship.
Wait, so why was he killing people?
So Terry Jo decides to stay in her room. As the water level's rising, she's starting to panic, but she doesn't want to go up to the main part of the boat because she knows Julian Harvey's up there still. So Terry Jo realizes that if she doesn't leave at this moment, she's gonna die from sinking. So she leaves her bedroom, climbs the ladder, goes up to the main part of the boat, and she sees Julian Harvey throwing a dinghy down and is about to hop in it to get away. And all Julian Harvey does is looks at her and then jumps into the water.
So why did he do it?
So Julian Harvey had a plan to kill his wife for her insurance money, but in the process of trying to kill her, Terry Jo's parents actually caught him doing it, and he realized that he has to kill everyone on that boat so that there's no witnesses. And Julian Harvey had a previous marriage where he got his ex-wife's insurance money because she died in an automobile accident.
Evil! This man collected his ex-wife's life insurance because she died in an automobile accident, and he was probably living life thinking, man, that was great. My wife died and I got some money. Yeah, I'm gonna do it again. What? Evil. Then he ended up getting caught in the act and decided to want to take the lives of the people that witnessed what he did. What makes him that much more evil is the fact that he was going to allow that little girl to drown instead of doing to her what he had done to her parents. Because he didn't handle his loose ends became his demise.
There's a CIA document that came out. Everybody just started talking about it now. It's called the Adam and Eve story. It basically explains how the world is going to end. Has it been true? It makes sense. They say the world is going to end because the poles, like, North and South Pole, they shift every 12,000 to 15,000 years. And once they shift, it causes like a giant like apocalypse, big earthquakes, giant tsunamis. Once the apocalypse happens, we go right back to the Stone Age. And it said that our first humans, like as us, it was 10,000 years ago. So if you think about it, 10,000 years ago, we're in year 2000. We're at 12,000 years right now. And now you see like global warming and like that. Like in the book, it says that we are the sixth civilization that came out of the apocalypse. So we just get to a certain point in life and then it just... And that explains a lot because remember how you were saying that the Sahara Desert used to be green and like the Antarctica used to have forests like that? Yeah. That's what happens. Like it switches everything and flips. Yeah. So now like some places turn cold, some places turn hot. That's why they was talking about like the flood in the Bible like that. That's probably what happened to Atlantis and shit like that.
I was just about to say Atlantis. It would make sense for a city in the water if the water wasn't there before.
This is one of those theories that not only have I heard, but I honestly believe is true because there has been too many examples to show up. If you just look and do the research that depicts that there was most certainly a reset that has occurred multiple times. But the fact that the information that he is speaking of, he proclaimed came from some CIA documents, that's interesting. But that same information, if you look hard enough, is scattered around in many different places.
What's a conspiracy theory that you 1,000% believe in? I'll go.
The conspiracy behind Wayfair. So I remember when this first was going on.
Pause, hold on. What is my man about to say about Wayfair? I love Wayfair.
A lot of people were all up in the air about it. Some people believed it, some people didn't believe it. And I happen to be one of those people that really didn't believe it. I thought there was no way that this huge corporation would use their website and certain items and certain coupon.
Oh my God, this is crazy though. This is, whoa, look, it's crazy to think. Hold on. This cabinet set right here, there's no way in the world that this thing would cost as much as it does right here. Almost $13,000, and it was priced at $15,000. But look at the name of it on here. It has the same name as this Columbus, Ohio missing teenager. That's interesting. So, y'all, I'm gonna let him continue on talking so that y'all can get a better understanding of what this theory is for those of you who haven't heard it. Let's go back.
Corporation would use their website and certain items and certain coupon codes to possibly kids. So I really never thought too much into it until one day something happened that actually changed my mind. So this happened about a year ago. So I work for a pretty well-known bank, and I remember we would always have this older lady come in, and anytime she came in, she would always do a cash deposit and immediately do a wire transfer. So one day I got a chance to help her, and I remember she did the cash deposit, which was like $13,000, all in cash, and immediately wanted to do a wire transfer. So when I started to help her, I remember the account number was written down on like a small piece of paper and the amount. So she was sending about $12,900 and like whatever cents to this account number. So I got to the part where I needed to type in who it was going to, and she told me it was going to Wayfair. And at first I really didn't think too much into it because she did have a business account, and I figured, well, maybe she's buying new furniture for her office or whatever. So after we were done, I started to go through her previous wire transactions just to see where all these other wires were going that she did prior. And they were all going to Wayfair. There was like 6 or 7 different wires that she was doing in the past like 60 days. And that's when I changed my mind. I knew that there was no way that this person that is always doing cash deposits and immediately doing a wire transfer afterwards to Wayfair, sending them thousands of dollars in 2 months, was buying furniture. There was no way. And I remember shortly after I reported the account just for like secondary review or whatever. And next thing I know, she never comes in again. I never see her again, ever.
What? If my man is telling the truth with this story here, this is absolutely insane. This makes me want to know if there is really a deep ongoing investigation into this matter to see if there's any real validity to this story. It's so specific that it'll make it hard to believe that it isn't true.
What's a conspiracy theory that you actually believe in?
Well, I think the moon's a hologram.
It's just not though, is it?
Huh?
What's a conspiracy theory that you actually believe in?
Definitely the time travel thing.
In what sort of way?
The future are watching us, so therefore all time all exist as one reality. So therefore, the past, the future, and the now, I believe, are all happening at the same time.
I like him. I like him a lot. Oh, yes. This is another one of those theories that have been going widespread across the internet in the past year. And a lot of people are thinking about it. You know what? That makes perfect sense. If it is indeed possible to go to the future and people of the future can indeed come back to this time and interact with us, or we can go back to the past, it's almost as if all of those timelines are existing at the exact same time in order for that to even be possible. Or else how can you possibly go back to something that has already occurred or move forward to something that has yet occurred? It would only make sense that those things are existing at the exact same time in order for you to visit any point of those times on the timeline. I likes it. I likes this. It's a good theory.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a great day. What's a conspiracy theory that you actually believe in?
Well, it's obvious. People are lizards.
I believe her. I believe her. You know why I believe her? Because when people tell you who they are, believe them. She just exposed herself as being a lizard, you know?
What do you mean?
Well, the Queen. She's a lizard.
Okay, well, thank you.
I wish he would have people elaborate on what they mean by what they're saying. Just like the dude that said all the timelines are existing at the same time, he didn't have him elaborate. And this lizard woman here. Golden.
Did Prince really just say this?
When I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time. And so, oh, that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing and you didn't know why.
Now, come on, man. This is just from heavy air traffic. You know, there has to be some sort of airport nearby.
Yeah, I see my man's right here is trolling right now, right? Talking about this is just from heavy air traffic. There's got to be an airport nearby. All these, what they call them, chemtrails? Look at all these. What are they releasing into the atmosphere, man? Is it honestly necessary for these chemtrails to exist? Do these planes have to admit this into the sky? Or is it something that they do because they're trying to kill us?
These streaks in the sky are caused by the water vapor in the airplane's engine. And
that part, the release of water vapor from these airplane engines, is that what causing these chemtrails in the sky? Or is it something else?
Low temperature causes ice crystals. It's not like they could just turn it off or... Okay, I don't know what that was about, but this is testing the weight limits of the planes, right, for passengers. And no, those aren't hoses hooking up to anything. Yeah, they're just testing the planes, guys. Now that's how they do their little writing in the sky, you know what I'm saying? It's just a crazy conspiracy.
Have you seen that one theory that Benjamin Franklin might have been like a serial killer? What? Yeah, so back in 1776, I guess he lived in London at this one house, and then he moved back to America or whatever. And during 1998, they wanted to make the house into like a museum. So while they're renovating the place and they, they're digging it up, like they're going underneath it, bro, they find pretty much like a room with no windows in it with 15 skeletons inside of it.
What the
and children skeletons.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yo, is this true? That's crazy. They couldn't hold him accountable because he had already passed away so many years prior to this.
So hell of people theorize that he might have been a serial killer, murderer, yeah, and he killed all the people and hid their bodies underneath his house.
Yo,
he was damn near like Jack the Ripper or something,
bro, on the low.
Yeah, this is the only place I've heard of a theory like that. We would all have to do some more research in order to determine or not, rather we believe this theory to be true. Now, this is the old theory that we're revisiting. Comment down below if you've heard or seen this one before.
Look at your M closely. There's a gap right here in the letter M. It's never connected. So you go into Hebrew, The letter Vav is also the number 6. Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail. You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can. But my interest is the word monster. What do you see in the O?
A cross.
There's a cross. Okay. What has Christ got to do with an energy drink, let alone the name monster? Here is the message. Antichrist. 666 in Hebrew. And then the Bible talks about the beast in Revelation. And look at Monster's ad. This is their statement.
Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Oh, hey, she's cooking. She's cooking.
You see these M's everywhere. Hats, t-shirts, bumper stickers. Is there another agenda here? If God can use people and product, so can Satan.
Whoa. Yo, that's crazy. She reached right there. She said, if God can use people to spread his message, so could Satan. I know so many people that will drink those energy drinks when they need those extra boosts, but I remember hearing somebody told me, I think it was a bartender told me years and years ago, that they don't even put those drinks in their lines, you know, where they be spitting out the, you know, the water or the soda or whatever the beverage is, or the beer into your glass, because those drinks are so acidic that they burn the pipes. They melt them. They make them deteriorate. Imagine what it's doing to your insides. I have a cousin who used to drink that stuff all the time. She was developing kidney stones like crazy. Careful, you guys, with those things. They're not the best for you.
And look at it this way. Even if the M was not the issue, you cannot deny that that is a cross. And what is witchcraft? When the cross goes upside down.
Oh, will you turn it up? Will you turn it up? Hey, she is cooking. She is cooking. Will you turn it up and you drink it? That whole thing done empty down inside of you. You made that cross on that can turn upside down. Now, it's working its magic on you.
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up. Woo! Hey, we had to end it with a classic, but leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. See you.